Hello?
Hey, did you call me?
Yeah, I was just calling you back, but we're on the podcast. Anything you want to say?
Nope, got nothing.
Okay, bye.
Every time I get on, I just clench up. Clench up.
Clench up. He's so funny.
Okay, love you. Bye.
He's so funny.
This week on Jerkin Around, Teisha calls us boring.
No, I'm just kidding. We weren't boring.
It wasn't as funny.
Yeah, I have a kidney stone. I'm not.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's not. It's like after my aunt.
Yeah,
You did it though.
Thanks.
You got through it, and you did still tell some funny stories.
Yeah, not really.
I'm proud of you. No, there was a few. Dana and I were laughing. Yeah. I forgot what, but there was
Guys,
like
we
5.
can't always be funny.
No, it's true. Kyle, remember?
Yeah.
Mine, I should have.
I know he didn't though.
It wasn't funny.
I didn't listen, but
He didn't listen either. He's like, I skipped that episode.
he's so.
So we talked about that. We talked about massages.
We talked about parenting your kids.
And don't forget about the campaign you're starting again.
Yeah, love everyone in spite of themselves.
Oh, yeah.
It's not about you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, should we tell them we're going to take a break for the holidays?
Yeah, December's off. Dana,
Yeah.
we haven't talked to Dana yet.
Oh, yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like,
Probably better for
yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. You're going to miss us.
I'm going to miss you, Dana.
Thanks. I'm going to miss you guys.
All right.
That's it.
Listen up. Do I say anything?
Oh my God, we're just being normal.
Oh, jerking around. Jerking
Do you
around.
want to get your headphones? We'll nail
Crystal takes her shirt off. Stick around. Should we say it at the same time?
it. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Jerkin Around.
A podcast with Teisha and Crystal.
Okay, let's talk.
Oh,
welcome,
suits.
Jerkies. Let's
Yeah.
talk. I was just thinking suits.
I'm so mad.
Why were you thinking suits?
Oh, because the NDA. You know, I was all for the cheerleaders to sign
Did you
it.
finish? You finished
I'm
it.
done.
Oh, is it so good? Does it end and
ends
like
good.
tie it together?
I heard
or-
it ends good too.
or
Did you
does-
see her nails?
Oh my gosh, aren't they so good?
They're my
chocolate
favorite yet.
matte.
They're my favorite yet.
Aren't
Ooh,
they?
I love them.
Don't you?
Sing. He
do
wanted to
too.
do something really special for her
And
yesterday.
I said no.
Yeah, and you did. I go, no, Sing, she doesn't like anything special. I can do the special
Yeah.
thing.
All the special
You can
gift
roll
to
with
her.
the, like, Greek
Yeah.
snake,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I can do the special thing.
I don't want special. I want as basic as it gets. You know?
That's like not so basic. I think you really did it.
I feel like it's like the
It's a
trendy
good
fall
spin on
basic.
it.
It's awesome. I love. That's my favorite one.
Don't
on
you like it? It's fun.
Do you like
too.
mine?
Yeah, I
think
love
looks
it.
good.
I do like yours.
It goes with mine.
It totally does. It
Yeah,
is.
I wanted tan, but this is where we ended.
No, yeah.
A light tan,
Yeah.
like a hint of a tan. Took a turn.
It did.
So then he said rose gold. I was okay with it,
Yeah,
but it
I
came.
like it.
It was just. But I
is-
like it.
It's definitely
It's
not
cute.
tan.
No, not tan.
but it's
It goes with me.
It's cute. It's not bad.
I think they look classy.
Yeah.
Not like classy nails. We're done with them.
Yeah. No.
That's the old place.
Yeah.
They're tempting.
Yeah.
Like Temptation Island, Temptation Nails.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing there? Yeah.
We've got a lot from Crystal today.
Yeah, we are.
I'm not that stressed out. Work's a lot better than it was. Last
Yeah.
week was awful.
That's hard, yeah.
Being a realtor is not what it's cracked up to be. Like, people see our reels. I think that's why people, not reels, because we haven't made those in a long time, but people see us joking around at work, and I think that's why they want to be on the team. But Sarah, the newcomer, she's about to be on the team. We've been dating for almost a year. We call it dating to see if you fit. We don't really look for new members. It's
We
like
don't want any new members.
It's a club. Well, because in business, everybody thinks more is better, and when we started getting more, it wasn't better. It's more of everything. It's like more kids, more
Stress.
love, but more
Stress.
things. So we're just not wanting to be the biggest name out there. But Sarah's been around, so she came with us staging last week, and it took a turn. She saw a different side of me. She goes, yeah, you're real passive. In the car.
Well, and that's the day my kidney stone flared up, and so I'm painting. I like look at that video that you posted. I look miserable. They're probably like, "Is she beat at work?"
I thought you
all-
just didn't want to be.
I'm painting, and I'm all. I'm real happy about it. You know, it's like, what's happening with her?
It was like a frown.
It was like, is she okay?
I just thought you hated painting.
Yeah.
I didn't know the pain was so great.
I was having back pain, and I was like, I thought I had maybe just need to drink water, but it turned out to be a kidney stone. But I was painting, and I saw the video, and I'm like, God, I look miserable. Like, they're all.
No, you did look sad. I thought you were just mad about painting. Nobody was happy.
No, I was in pain. Remember?
Yeah. I didn't know it was going to take the turn it took. So Teisha's dealing with kidney stones and anal fissures.
No, anal fissures. I don't even know what those are, and I don't have them.
They're tears.
Smiles all the
They're
time.
tears.
Yeah,
They're like,
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Because
Sounds not fun.
No, it's not. I had it after I had kids.
Did you?
I don't know why. I didn't do anything back there.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty normal.
Oh, I think it was because
Like hemorrhoids. People get hemorrhoids.
No,
Yeah.
you know what it was from? The pain pills caused the stuff to get like rock hard.
Yeah.
And so when I would go to the bathroom, it was like delivering a baby.
Yeah.
And then it would cut, and then I'd have to keep going in the cut.
Yeah.
And it killed. So every time I went to the bathroom, it was like delivering a child. And my OB was like, it's anal fissures.
Oh my.
And I was like, what's a fissure?
Yeah.
Is it like feces? And she's like, no, they're small cuts. Dr.
Wow.
Simon. She didn't care. She was like,
Yeah,
sorry.
tough it out.
yeah, I'm all really, really hurt. She's like, you're okay. Yeah, let's talk about the weight gain. It's like, I look back and I wasn't even big. Remember, she kept telling me I was having pelvic pain, like really bad. This was on the break. Started the break. And I was having pelvic pain so bad. I was like this all day, every day. Like it was so bad. And I'd go see her and I'm like, my pelvic pain is so bad. She's all, yeah, well, you didn't get back to your pre-baby weight. I'm all, okay. No, like there's like an alien in here ripping my insides. She's like, yeah, you probably have about 15 more pounds. It was like, I got in the car. I think we were friends then because that's who I would have called.
Yeah.
And I think I called Tana. I was
No, I was
hysterical.
friends with you still when that happened.
Yeah, just for the hysterectomy.
Yeah.
It was like, and I wasn't
Remember,
even
and
that
then
big.
you saw her when I delivered Bear, and,
Yeah, it was
and you were
awkward.
pregnant, and she was like,
I left the doctor.
I would have.
Yeah, because the pain was so bad, I wasn't getting help, and I was taking like tramadol. Like, I look back, I was taking 7 a day. It's so bad. They're not pain pills, but they're not Tylenol. They're in the
like
middle.
non-narcotic.
Yeah, but they're still like it. That's a lot on your system. So then I went to the new doctor, and they're like, something's in here, and it was like birthing again.
Yeah.
Wait, so was that causing your pelvic pain, you think?
No, I think it's called endometriosis. It's endometriosis in your uterus.
Adenomyosis.
That's what it is. I can never say it right.
Dana always knows.
How do you know that?
I
So-
have it too.
Do you? Oh, it
Terrible.
it's unbelievable. And then I had polycystic ovaries, so my ovaries had cysts everywhere. So it was just like a mess. So I did my uterus first, then I went back in and did my ovaries. And then welcome to Crazy Train, because I had no hormones. It's been a road. Poor Kyle. But you know what's weird about when I got my hysterectomy, anyone out there that's had one, my hormones stayed okay for the first year. Because I think your body's
Probably, like,
not used to it.
or
yeah.
like residual.
So I was like, this isn't bad. And then year 2, I was all, what'd you say to me? You better watch when you sleep tonight, kids. You know?
I'm all, well, this explains a lot. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Kyle would always be like, do you think you're the same? I'm all, yes. Not the same.
You're all, why? You know?
They're all, did you take your pills, Mom? I'm all, shut up. And then I'm all taking them. Like I forget. Yeah, but it's scary. That's what started my whole weird medical journey was then I was doing those pallets, but I wasn't checking my blood work appropriately. So then it gave me too much testosterone that caused my heart to race.
Yeah.
Then Teisha would take me to the hospital. Remember, we went like twice.
Oh, that's so hard.
Yeah, and then they put me on anxiety pills. It wasn't anxiety. It was my
was like
thyroid
the
levels.
thyroid, yeah.
It was crazy. But that's why it's so important.
It's crazy how your whole body operates together, you know?
and hormones are so important.
And adjusts.
Yeah.
So do you still have your uterus? How do you function with that?
It's hard.
Yeah.
They won't do an ablation. So my options are an ablation or a...
Why won't they do one?
Because I'm too young.
Oh, Brandy got
That's
one. I think.
ridiculous.
Well, she just
You
did
can believe
brain
that.
Too young. How old are you?
38.
Yeah, I had my hysterectomy at 30. It wasn't an easy
Yeah.
thing.
Well, and she said we can. She just doesn't recommend it because I'd probably have to do it again or go ahead with the hysterectomy. And I'm
Anyways.
not, yeah, and I'm not
Ready.
I'm trying to do everything except
Natural.
the hysterectomy.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I feel like I was almost young. They asked me 5,000 times about it. Like even wheeling me back to the OR. Are you sure you want a hysterectomy?
Do you wish you would have not gotten it?
Yeah, I kind of wanted one more kid. But honestly, my pregnancies were so crazy. I felt like I was pushing it. You know, like I had 3 healthy kids.
Yeah.
And
Did you have Bell's palsy?
when I was pregnant, yes. And then after a few times.
Yeah.
But I had premature. So I had 2 cerclages. And then Broxton, literally a miracle. I didn't go on bed rest. I held him till 39 weeks. It's the craziest thing. And I got pregnant because I was having the pelvic pain. This is a crazy story. So I moved to the new doctor. And he had ordered, because of my pain, he had ordered an ultrasound. So the night before the ultrasound, the day before I'm at church, and you know when you just like God's talking to you, and it was like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, I'm not pregnant. I was still taking the boo pill, and I was still breastfeeding full time. I hadn't had a period yet. But I remember one day I didn't take the blue pill because I was thinking, she thought maybe if I didn't take it for one day, if the pain would subside. That was Simon. So it was like a month before. She said, don't take it for one day and see if the pain's better. Maybe it's the blue pill.
It was like the progesterone only, you know what you take when you're nursing?
So I didn't take it one day to try that, but I still didn't have my period or anything, so I didn't think I could get pregnant. And all of a sudden in church, I was like, I'm pregnant. And so we left church, and I told Kyle I was going to Hot Bagels because I like to buy pregnancy tests, and they're like $12, and he gets really mad about the pregnancy test buying. So I didn't tell him I was going to buy a pregnancy test because he would be like, you're a weirdo. You're still, Hudson was only 7 months. And she was a pill. She would not take a bottle, like a pill. So I go, and he's on the phone with his parents, and I was pregnant. And I was like, I didn't want to find out in the ultrasound that I was pregnant. I just had this weird feeling. So I'm like, get off the phone. And it was Mother's Day. And I was just hysterical because Hudson was a naughty baby. Yeah. Like really hard. Everybody would just give her Tylenol. Like, Jen, give her Tylenol. Like, we just gave her Tylenol.
I know, and now, like, knowing what I know, I'm like, that's horrible.
I know, she just screamed. Like, if she wasn't being breastfed, she screamed. So then I was crying, and I went to Tana's house. I showed up on her doorstep crying with the pregnancy test. I can't believe this. We're doing this again, because I had been on bed rest for 3 months with the other two.
It was like bad pregnancies.
Yeah,
so then thinking
it was
of having
scary.
2 like
That
young
close.
kids and then another one on bed rest is like a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody would have to come over, Teisha, Kristen, Tana. When I was on bed rest with Maddie, I had a toddler. So I had to have someone with me every day, all day. It was such a pain for them. And awkward for me. Like, it's hard to ask people for help.
Yeah.
Teisha would bring Kennedy over, remember, in the pack and play? Mm-hmm. And, like, they would just stay with me all day because I couldn't lift. I couldn't lift my kid. So I'm like, how am I going to do this with 2?
Yeah.
And so I go to the ultrasound the next day, and they did it, and they're like, it does look like you're pregnant, but it doesn't look like it took.
Oh my gosh.
And sure enough, you know how you connect right away? I was devastated.
Yeah.
But I didn't think I wanted it. Like, I was so overwhelmed. And in that moment, I was devastated because in that few hours, I already
Was like, come to terms with it.
Yeah.
So then we were really praying about it, and they did the blood work thing. Let's see if it doubled. And then sure enough, it doubled. And so, and it was like, that snapped me out of it so fast. From then on, I enjoyed the pregnancy. We found out the sex because we didn't find the sex out for the other 2. I loved doing that. I did not like not knowing. It's so much better to know.
I know.
I don't get it. Like, it's cool, the first one, surprise, but I was all drugged up because that was a really bad delivery.
Yeah.
And then the second one, I thought she was a boy, and when she came out, it like took a while to connect, and she had this red hair and was a girl. And I was like, who are you?
Yeah.
So with Broxton, it was nice to like picture him the whole time.
Yeah.
We had enough surprises.
I like knowing. I think
I love
it's
knowing.
like,
It's so much better,
Yeah.
honestly. I don't like the not knowing.
well, especially if you have C-sections, like you are very out of it when you, that's the really downside to having a C-section is like you're very drugged up when the baby comes out and you're almost like not like, because I had a regular and then I had C-sections and like I remember with Fox, I was so tired because you know how like
yeah.
that overwhelming tired from the morphine and then after they take you they say you get like a surge of like hormones or like something and I couldn't even stay awake to like be excited. I was all okay, good night. You know, like so I felt like I don't feel like I even connected as much until like a little bit like later. It was weird, whereas like Kennedy it was like right away.
Yeah, Maddie's was an emergency C-section and they load you.
Yeah.
With drugs, and I had that fever.
Yeah.
I had like 104.2. So I was like lethargic, and then Maddie wasn't breathing. I started to bleed out. It was awful. But I was so young, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And Kyle's all, what do I do? Do I go with you? Do I go with Maddie? And I was all, you know, it was bad. And Simon got on the bed. She got in my face, climbed on the bed in my face and goes, you're gonna be fine. And I'm like, why are you telling me this?
Yeah.
But then you could see them all,
Yeah.
you know, crazy. She was good under those circumstances.
Yeah.
She was very good under those circumstances, but she was just different. I loved her, but the cerclage and a few other things.
Yeah.
And then I got an infection, and then it was really bad. I was like
infection
septic.
was bad,
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So that's why the 4. No, but what I was going to say is it's so easy to go to surgeries, and I've had so many surgeries. I've had like 15, maybe 20. I don't know. I've had a lot. But like when I'm young, you don't know that every surgery, there's a counterpart to that.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I would regret taking it all out because the pain was so bad, but I didn't understand the magnitude of the hormone balance. And just that everything.
Yeah, there's a risk with every surgery.
Yeah,
of like
and like
what
there's a
you're-
counter.
Yeah, like you might cure one thing, but it might cause another.
Yeah, totally. And you don't know that as a kid. And like my mom, she has all these neck things, but she doesn't want surgery. And I'm like, you're not wrong.
No.
Because there could be other things that come. Our friend had surgery. She is a jerky. or a listener. I don't know. I don't know. I know she listens. I don't know if she's fully a jerky. It's funny. I was listening to us talk about Riley.
Yeah.
It's true though. There's listeners and there's jerkies.
Listeners and jerkies. It's
like Danae's a jerky.
Danae's a jerky.
Yeah. Becky jerky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our friend, she had never had surgery and went in, I think, for a hysterectomy. Mm-hmm. She was allergic to the anesthesia.
I don't know. It's like started a whole
like problems. 2 years. Yeah. Almost died like almost 5 times. Yeah. One little procedure.
Like had nothing ever wrong prior to this.
Best house. And it's
so
crazy.
Like, it's just crazy. Scary. And I sometimes feel like, I mean, there's a time and a place for obviously Western medicine, but
and anal.
Like with both of them, there's a time and a place.
Pictures or not.
Yeah. And I just think maybe like should be maybe a few more steps before we get to that
totally.
option.
Like you don't always
that's
know.
The first option.
Yeah. And you just do it because they tell you to do surgery.
Right. Or you're in such a bad place that you think it's going to be the fix and it's like,
I know. We're like talking to you right now.
I know. I'm like nervous for it'll be fine.
Teisha has
a kidney stone. I mean, I feel like people have them all the time.
Well, and it's a pretty non-invasive procedure.
It's nothing. I feel like I've had a lot more worse.
Like more invasive.
Totally. Yeah. Hopefully it'll pass or something. I don't know.
And I think there are options.
I don't know too much. I only know about that. You got to remember the story. It's like Kyle's campfire story, where the guy was holding it and it was little, and the nurse was good looking,
and he's all it's usually bigger.
Yeah, and he was at work and he had a towel wash. You know, you've heard the story. It's one of his best stories.
So funny.
Kyle's house stories like Teisha, but they're a little bit more long-winded.
He's so funny.
What was he saying the other day? Oh my gosh, he's talking to this guy who just recently got divorced. And he's like, so that house, I did the grass. First of all, he didn't remember the guy. He remembers nobody. So embarrassing.
I don't remember anybody either.
No, it's so embarrassing.
It's bad.
I'm like, Kyle, he's like,
we're going to this client. She knows you. I'm all. No clue. I met her 5 times. No clue. I
was like, so that house, we did the grass with the nice pool. Is that still your house? I'm like, why are you asking? He's like, no, I let my wife have it. He's all, oh, really? Oh. And I'm all, shut up. You know, and you're just like, please have it go away. He's like, so where do you live now? Like, he's going through divorce. The guy's
probably in an apartment. Like,
yes!
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's so, like, I'm all, shut up. Yeah. Do you see your kids still? I was like, oh my God, please make it stop.
He's just so, like, honest.
He's so honest,
forward that it's like, he doesn't understand sometimes, like, oh, maybe, like, a little.
But you know what did happen? Because I was, like, so annoyed. But then all of a sudden, the guy, like, opened up and was telling us all these things, probably because he's like, this guy's not going to stop, so let me tell you. And it was like, it was a great conversation, but I was just like, oh my gosh, she doesn't read the room.
Well, Crystal doesn't ask any questions. No. She'll tell me something, and I'm like, really? How'd that happen? She's like, I don't know. And I'm all, well, what are they going to do? She's like, I don't know. And I'm all, so this huge, weird thing.
Yeah, always. I don't know.
You don't know how it happened, how it's getting resolved, why, when, no details. She's like, well, I didn't want to ask. And I'm all, don't you think if they were telling you, they like maybe wanted to talk about it, you know?
I know.
Because I always ask, I'm all,
questions.
really? Like, how'd that happen, you know?
I'm all, so we have to sell our house. She's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, so you have to move. I'm like, by tomorrow. She's like, you don't know why? I'm like, no, I didn't want to ask. It's like something like that.
It's like
it affects us, and I still didn't ask.
And then it's like such a big thing. I'm like, we got to get some details, you know?
I know. I'm like, I have the bend where I don't like to like ask weird things, but then sometimes I cause way more problems because I don't ask. Do you guys don't watch Love Is Blind? It's so good. It was such a bad season though. And the guy's like, yeah, so he cheated, this one guy. And he's like, well, I have a hard time letting people down, so I probably should have told her.
Oh my God.
I get it though.
That's like Ben.
Like he didn't want to hurt her feelings.
Yeah.
So he
not
wasn't
the cheating, but he doesn't want to
They
tell
were like
me.
newly dating, and then he went to a wedding and met a girl, and then like he wasn't calling her back really or like hanging out with her, but he was dating the new girl, but he didn't want to let her, like he didn't want to hurt her feelings. And he's like, yeah, I probably hurt her feelings a lot more. I should have just hurt her feelings. And I was like, I get it though. Yeah. It's not the best quality.
No. It's like when you don't want to let people down. You and Ben both have that.
Yeah, Dr. Laura, I was listening to her yesterday, and this husband was a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Man, did she light him up.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, he never takes time for himself. He sounds like his wife is
I feel like that personality gets sometimes.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
I was Ben.
Me too. I was all.
I'm all, is that saying that I'm like, you know?
You're like a respectful witch.
Yeah.
Like you're not like a witch.
I'm not mean.
No. Mm-mm. You're just like.
I'm so
particular.
Well, I'm just like, yeah.
No, in this scenario, you would not do this. Listen to what this wife did. Now it's hot.
I think it's great.
All right. You have the kidney
But
stone.
I realized I forgot to put deodorant on. I hate that.
Oh, that's the worst.
Remember when you weren't wearing any? It was weird.
I know. But
Are
now
you still wearing the
they
health?
make the healthy kind, so it's fine.
Okay.
It doesn't do a lot, but it's
Better than nothing.
better than nothing.
So anyways, so the husband, Dr. Lord told the guy to have more time for himself. Do something for himself.
Yeah.
So it was the assignment. You know, like I understand the assignment.
Yeah.
So he calls her back and he's like, I didn't do the assignment. And I was like, what's the assignment? He's like, I was supposed to do something for myself. So I went home and told my wife that I called you. And the wife was like, why would you call her? What are you, a pussy? Like, you got to call some doctor and air out dirty laundry. Like, told him off. You don't need any time for yourself. So then she gave him a list of things to go do.
Oh my gosh.
I don't feel like it's that bad.
You don't, do.
No.
You would have said that to me.
Yeah, I'm like, this is like not even a bad story. Like, no, you wouldn't do this. Like, I thought she hit him or something, you
You
know?
would let him do something for himself.
Yeah, he goes hunting all the time. And to the gym all the time.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
But
he
you-
does very much things for himself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, hello, we have a dinner in 5 minutes, and he's doing himself
Yeah,
silly,
I mean, you might have been rude, but she was like, what her point was is you do things for love. Like, as am I probably. I think people are going to love or accept me if I do all these things. But what she said was, she's not loving and accepting you even when you're doing those things.
No.
So stop chasing that because you're not going to find it there.
Yeah.
It was really good. Not to leave her, but she told him to tell his wife, I know you don't appreciate this, but I'm going to start doing some things for myself for me.
Yeah.
And
Good
she made
for
him practice it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Well,
but
when you're
like
beat
guys,
down-
not scared to talk to me. Like, he doesn't have to practice with a doctor how to talk, you know?
How to approach you.
He's 100%
Yeah.
scared to talk to you.
No, he's not.
That's why he hasn't told you things before. Yeah, I'm scared to talk to you. He's 100% scared to talk to
No,
you.
not at all.
Yeah, he is. It's like a thing.
Not
well,
at
I'm
all.
scared you're gonna get yelling at me, and you're like, oh, I
I
don't
am
care.
gonna yell, but like, who cares? Like, if you're scared of someone yelling, that's stupid. You know?
That's on you.
Yeah, it is. It's like, well, I'm sorry that, like, boo. Like, are you scared? Like, it's dumb. Like,
Was this Ben's call? Like, I'm
Yeah.
starting to get weirded
like,
out.
is Ben a caller? I didn't turn my phone off. No, but like, that's dumb. Like, don't be afraid to like hear something that you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you got to hear what you don't want to hear.
Well, and I think the people pleaser personality is
They don't.
more about their ego. Like they're protecting their ego and getting that reciprocated love from other people.
Well, because they depend on it. I
Yes.
speak for the people pleasers. You
Yeah.
depend on that accolade. So that's
Yeah.
what feeds your confidence
Totally.
or ego.
Yeah.
And so when
And I don't
people
see
are...
that in a bad thing. Not
No,
like a
but
bad
it's negative because you can't depend on everyone else. You have to depend on yourself or God
Yeah.
for your confidence. But I'm very like that. Like if someone's upset with me, it'll bother me all day.
That's how Ben is. Like, he can't get over it if someone's upset. Or I'm all. A few people.
Well,
would
you have
bother
the
me.
gift of not really noticing. And I do think it's a gift because I wish I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think I missed it and I'm like, oh, well, I missed it.
Yeah.
Like later I'm like, oh, I don't think they
Well,
like me.
sometimes I get a vibe, but then I'm like, well, I don't really know, so I'm just moving on. And then it kind of goes away, you know?
Well, and I think like what we talked about last week, it's not always about you.
Totally.
Like sometimes we take that stuff so personally that someone's being rude because of you. That's my downfall. I always
Yeah.
think everything's about me.
Yeah, like what she did, like they're being weird, what did I do? And
Yes,
I'm like, it's
and
not
they're
even
just
about
having
you.
a bad day.
Yeah.
Like that story we didn't tell, but we're
Yeah.
gonna tell.
Yeah.
Where Teisha, the Fishers.
No. I hadn't talked to
Are we
someone
not
in a
allowed
long
to? Yeah,
time.
can we say it?
I mean,
it's a good story.
I hadn't talked to someone in a long time, and I kind of was like, thought it was something I did.
yeah,
That,
like years, like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, is it something I did? And I didn't know, and I didn't think I did anything, but I was like, maybe I did something, and so I thought it was something I did, and then I ran into them, and then it was like, it was totally not that. And then I was like, oh, it's not about me.
She told you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So she just basically like was
Was like, sorry, I had a lot going on at that time.
yes, and I was like, oh, I thought it was something I did.
Yeah.
And
It was like crazy, and you carry that for a long time.
yeah, so I think remember we used to live like it's not about us.
That was the best thing we ever did.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Except-
that was the best thing.
I feel like I took it to the extreme with the boy.
But did it matter?
No.
That's what's so weird. Is like it didn't matter.
I'm all, he's doing drugs, but it's not about me.
It wasn't about you though. No, my boyfriend too, Dave, underwear guy. If he listens, hope you're doing good,
I
Dave.
don't think he listens.
But no, he had all the underwear from the other girls, and I was like, it's okay, it's not about me. You wanted to spit that out.
What an idiot! Like you know.
It was an idiot, but honestly, I just kept loving him unconditionally. We totally became boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
We totally fell in love, and then after that, I realized we weren't right for each other.
Yeah.
But like he became a Christian because of like God's love. Like you never know why you're in someone's life. But sometimes we do make it about us. Yeah. Let's do that again. Let's go through that. So it was like for a year or so.
What happened? We just decided one day. We were so weird. We were like in our 20s and we're like,
we're the same. We're doing this. Let's start a podcast.
Yeah, we're like, let's love everybody. And we called it, remember, loving people in spite of themselves.
Yes.
And then my dad was like, that's so stupid.
Oh my gosh, it was the happiest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, and like.
In my life.
It was like, whatever you do to me, I don't care. I'm just. And
well,
like.
you saw people like God's way. Like, there was nobody in the world we were bugged with.
But it was like people, like I remember I worked with this girl and she was just a bitch. And I was like,
you called your kid a shithead last week, and now you're mouthing bitch.
Yeah, so she was just not nasty, and so I was like, I'm just gonna love her. I'm gonna compliment her, and I'm gonna just be so loving and not be reactive to her like bratty meanness. And then it was like
best friends.
It like flipped it, and it was so crazy because everyone would be reactive. No, I remember no one liked her, and so everyone would react, and they're like, God, she's awful, and I would just be like killing her with kindness. And it's so crazy how like one person can like
change you,
impact the whole relationship. You know.
It's crazy.
Like the Love Dare. Remember the marriage?
Oh, the Love Dare is the best movie. Can we put a thing to that?
Fireproof.
Have you seen it? It's the best movie on the planet.
Was it a book first?
Yeah.
It was. And it's so good. Because it's like, if everybody did that and practiced those things, it would be life-changing in any relationship.
Well, it's kind of what's happening in the world. Like even families. So many families don't get together on the holidays. Like we have a few different things happening this year for the holidays. And it's like kind of sad because like my brother goes on a cruise now and Bonnie and Lance are going to go up north, and like it just changes. But you realize some people really don't be with their families anymore. So many families are on the outs because it's about them and it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about you. We're going to start a whole mission.
Let's start it.
It's not about you. Love them in spite of themselves.
Let's get our jerkies to do it with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we've been talking about doing it again.
I know.
It was like, that's when we told the Bible study off too. Because the Bible study would be like, they'd be like, I don't mean to roll my eyes. That's wrong. But sometimes there's like the Christians that it's just not relatable. I've been praying every day. And the next girl was like, I've been praying 2 times a day and doing 5 devotionals. Then the other girl was like, I'm already through James in 2 days.
Well,
and
that
Teisha
makes somebody feel, and that's great if you're doing that, but like maybe less sharing of that.
And we were drunk at the bar.
And
we were like, we haven't read the Bible in a few years.
That, like, when you're like trying to impact people that maybe aren't at that level, that's not the way to get through to someone. That almost turns people off because they're like, oh, I'm not doing that. So, yeah.
Well, it makes you feel less than. And the goal of a Christian is hopefully to make people feel loved in spite of themselves.
Right.
Yeah. Like that's what grace is. Grace we love.
We should do that again.
I know, let's do it. We are doing it.
Okay.
This is the lesson for this week is to...
You sound
like Kevin Lehman? Yeah.
He's all, little Johnny. It's so funny. You got to do a clip of his voice. He's like, little Susie, get outside with your brother. I'm dead serious. Isn't it?
Sound just like
it's like so.
I can't believe
it's so funny. When
I can find it.
Kevin Lehman.
Kevin Lehman's podcast is so good.
So good.
Anyways, so in the Bible study, they'd be like, I've been praying for Shirley. She's making bad decisions. And lo and behold, so are we. You know, we're drinking at the bar. Mm-hmm. This was in our 20s, not now. And they were like, and Shirley doesn't treat me with respect. And we're like, we would yell at him. We'd be like, well, maybe Shirley is having a hard time. And maybe Shirley needs love. Like you're missing. Our point to be on earth as Christians is to love people. I'm lecturing my own self, you know? Because nowadays it's when you're busier and stressed, I am more personal. I'm like, oh, I'm done with them. Yeah. I was just saying that about somebody.
And the whole push toward boundaries. And
yes, it's ruining it. It is. Even,
it's hard to know.
Even like with my family, like working through some things. Mm-hmm. Stephanie, I think I talked about this on the podcast. On one of her lessons, it was about like forgiving your past. Like people that, like my mom, how she would make me drink some fast and stuff as a kid. Weird, but she was in her.
I'm not meaning to laugh.
No, it is funny. But
they were really good. I mean, do you remember?
They were that good.
I used to love them.
I hated them because it was like breakfast and lunch, and then you get to have dinner. You know, it was weird.
Oh, I loved them.
But my mom, her intentions.
Remember Zimas?
Yes.
Zimas were good with the Jolly
I was
Rancher.
in 5th grade and we were moving, and my mom was like, I'm dying of thirst. She's all, well, there's Zima in the fridge, and I had a drink of a Zima in like 5th grade. Like that's not normal, right? Isn't that so weird? I remember that. Yeah. It doesn't quench your thirst, if anyone's wondering. I don't even know if they make it anymore, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Why don't they? It's so scary. Like
Yeah.
Cisco, they don't make it anymore.
Yeah.
Spark, don't make it anymore.
That was
Remember
good.
Jasta?
No.
Yes.
Or like
I don't.
Surge?
Surge, yes.
I don't remember any of those.
Non-alcoholic, but like crazy caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Sparks. Though.
Yeah.
Sparks was our
So
favorite.
Stephanie
Everyone
said, forgive your past.
because her intention was probably to help you, and then it was.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm actually very
Dana
good
looks
at not
so
holding
skinny.
grudges. Yeah.
Yeah, you are. It's your gift.
But I sometimes don't let a lot of people in, and that could be where I'm better as a Christian, is being more open arms to people. I'm a little like, I got my little circle. And
Why do you think you're like that? I'm just curious.
I just don't feel like the need to have like a huge circle. I don't know why. I have a hard time maybe opening up. So like if we went out with a group of like 30 people, I would be so quiet and be like, But if I went out with like my best friends, which a lot of people are like this, it's normal.
Yeah.
I would be like so open and crazy. So I feel like,
See, mine is like the opposite. I am more comfortable in big groups than I am in smaller groups.
oh, that's interesting. But I don't want
Sometimes. Like,
and I have a hard time being fake. So I want to be real, but I can't do that with strangers. So, or just like acquaintances.
Well,
so that's why a lot of
maybe
people
it's
think
not
I'm
fake. It's more surface.
I can't be surface.
Yeah.
I have like a problem with it. I say weird things.
I do
I'm all-
too.
Yeah.
But I like think I'm funny in that aspect. Like I'm funny, like I'm on.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's harder for me to be not on, but be real,
Yeah.
be open.
Yeah. I just don't want to have like a ton of people around. I just feel like, and I don't trust people easily. I'm like very, with the trust, it's like, you got to really earn it. And
Like meet the Fockers.
it is. Yeah. I'm all, this is the circle and you're not in it, you know? And so, yeah, I feel like I don't trust a lot of people. So like I'll be friendly and you're an acquaintance, but like I don't trust you at all and I'm not myself around you. So
It's so true though that it's not about you. We really got to do that. Love them anyways. Because like I remember I was working at Deer Valley and one of the teachers I was working with was so rude to me.
Yeah.
So rude to me. And I just kept loving her. I'd give her cards.
and then they love you.
They love me. And like I broke through the barriers that everyone else, they push
Yeah.
everyone else away.
Yeah.
And I like, if you condition yourself to see the good in people, even when they show you the bad, as a coach and teacher,
Yeah.
that's very natural to me. Like on our
Well,
team.
when you're not taking it personal, you do
Yes.
see the good. You see
yeah,
it like for
I think
what
that's
it
why
is.
it's easy as a coach.
You see
I
like
love,
they're hurting. You don't
Yes.
see the.
It's not about me.
Yeah, you like take the personal aspect out of
Yes.
it, and then you're like, oh, they're just having a bad day.
And in clients, I feel like I'm
Yeah.
usually pretty good about that, besides when it's someone I'm close with.
Yeah.
Like, they'll be like yelling, I'm like, they're just stressed. It's nothing about
I
us.
do that for my kids, and Ben's all, she's talking to you like shit. And I'm all, she just had a bad practice. So she's whacked, and she'll be fine. And like, and I understand what he's saying. He's like, it's disrespectful. You know, he's really into the disrespect. And I'm like, I feel like, I just know her. I'm like, she's just whacked right now, you know? But I don't know what's right when the parenting. Because I do agree with him. They can't be disrespectful.
Well, because you don't want her to think other people are going to just get that about her.
Right.
And then, because like with Broxton, that's the same.
Yeah.
Like, I just get him.
Yes.
He's not trying to look over here when the coach is over here. He's totally just.
Yeah.
Because I deal with the same.
Yeah.
And like, it's not personal at all. It's about him, not about them. But then I'm like, he's not going to get as far if he keeps doing this to everybody.
You have to learn that not
Yeah.
everybody, you can't
Gets
treat
you.
people like
Yeah,
that.
and my family was really, like my brother's really good like that with me.
Yeah.
Like I would be throwing desks at him and he's like, would you like to go to dinner? You know? And I'm all, yeah, I would actually.
Yeah.
You know, and he'd take me out and he'd sit and talk with me and that's something like my parents didn't do. They were
Yeah.
just busy. It wasn't that they did anything wrong. But my brother just like knew me.
Yeah.
Like he knew I was good even when I acted bad. And that's probably why that one fight really bugged me when he was like, because I was like, I thought you always got it. But I think you need like one person really believing in you and like seeing the good in you.
It only takes one, yeah.
One, it's that self-fulfilling prophecy that we always talk about. If we treat our kids like they can do anything and they're good people, even when they're acting bad, they will rise to who you see them as. But if you always see them as they can't do anything right, they're lazy, they're gonna rise to that.
Yeah.
So we have to be very careful with the way we've worked on that since the podcast. Because I've listened back and I'm like, that's so right, like the self-fulfilling. So I've really worked on like what I say, especially to Broxton, because he's the one that's the most like harder to read.
Right.
And like Kyle has gotten so much better and he's like rising. to the occasion. Like we're always like, you're lazy, like sloppy, like mess.
Yeah.
And like, then he is a mess. But now we're like, thanks for helping. Like, I was volunteering in the classroom the other day at school, and the party when you were
I was
in the
supposed to be
hospital.
at the party. I was at the ER.
Can we tell that what you called and said in that morning, or is that wrong? I already told Tana.
What'd I say?
She's on the way to the hospital on Friday morning. In a lot of pain.
I mean, hospital is a stretch. It's like the little freestanding ER.
It's the hospital. Everybody in the world goes to the hospital for kidney stones.
Oh.
It's like no one in the planet doesn't
Okay.
go to the hospital for kidney
Okay.
stones. You think you've had an appendicitis. It's right, Dana?
Oh, I thought it was dying. I thought it was a kidney infection.
Yeah, like you have to go to the hospital for that. So it's like it's a hospital, but it's like an ER. Yeah. So she's on the way, she calls me. She's like, I had to tell Tana I'm not coming to the party. I think she's mad at me. Like, she's not crying about, like, she's crying because she's in pain.
Yeah.
But she's more worried about Tana. Tana was dying. She's like, oh my God, no.
Oh, I was scared. I was like,
Tana, I'm scared.
well, and first of
My
all,
sister-in-law.
I was up all night with the pain. So finally, I get out of bed at like 6 a.m. and I'm like, and Ben's like, and I'm supposed to volunteer that day. And Ben's like, you need to go to the hospital. And I'm like, I can't, I got to volunteer at the Halloween party. And he's all, yeah, you're not going. I'm all, I have to go. And he's all, why? I go, it's limited availability. Sign-ups. I took a spot. There was only 7 on the sign-up genius. Like, there was a sign-up genius. There's only 7 spots.
Yeah,
I fought for
and then
my
some
spot.
didn't get in. Yeah.
I got on right away when it released. I was like, I can't, I'm never gonna be allowed to do it again. And he's like, this is insane. He's like, you're going to the hospital. I'm like, I'm not, I'm volunteering. And then I'm all, and then finally I was like puking and I was dying. So he's like, okay, you're going to the hospital. So I went to the hospital.
So
But
she
yeah, so
called
I'm
me,
texting
like,
Tana.
Tana's fine.
She's like in Tahoe. I'm all, Tana, I'm so sorry. I think I might have a kidney infection. I'm headed to the doctor. If I get done in time, I'll still come. Because the party wasn't till 9:30. Like, I want her to know I'm trying to get there. I'm like,
Yeah.
if I get out in time, I'll be there. She's probably like,
You said doctor, not hospital?
I think I said
A doctor's different.
I think I said urgent care.
Yeah, it still
Yeah.
doesn't, it's not what was happening.
No.
It was like dying in pain. Regina's all, can you call Teisha and tell her to go to the doctor? I'm like, Teisha's not going to the doctor unless she's dying. And then I
was
call
dying.
you, and I was all, okay, Reg, she's on her way.
Yeah.
But like, she's not going to just go. It has to be like bad
It's
pain.
dying. Yeah.
So,
I even texted her Friday night. She's like, no, I stayed home. I had a kidney stone. Like, all's well. Like, you would never have known.
No,
that
I know,
happened earlier
I know.
today.
I'm just, I don't like to be like, you know.
yeah. But anyways, we were talking about something right before that.
No,
Tana.
but what you were saying about the back real quick about the rise to the our
Oh, yeah.
So I struggle with this
Oh,
because
the teachers. I remember now.
well, like our kids had so our CJ had really great grades at the beginning of this semester. He was being real responsible. Well, then he started not turning in assignments. So now we're at 13 missing assignments in
He
one
isn't at that
in one
anymore.
class. Well, in that class, he still is. He's turned some in, but they haven't been graded yet.
But that's not his fault.
Ken also has a bad grade, but hers is because she got a bad grade on a test. So my thing is, I'm not gonna micromanage until I need to. That was what I said. So
I agree
I
with
was
that.
like every day, I'm like, you're so responsible, you're doing so great, and then it was all, and then now I'm involved because now we're at
I completely agree with that.
so he.
That's the consequence to his choice.
Right. So this is my question. So then he got the grade. It dropped to an F at one point because he had 13 missing
Well, then
assignments.
she saw, like, she was like, I'm gonna enlist him in training camp. Like, it got like so far. Remember, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I was raging.
Yeah,
If
like,
you're trying hard and you have a bad grade,
I agree.
That's fine.
I completely
when you
agree.
have
Missing assignments is lazy.
13 is insane.
Insane. I
That's like
completely
you're not
agree.
doing shit in class.
Yeah, exactly.
I was raging. So I said, and it's just our rule. You're not getting a $1,000 iPhone if you don't have good grades. This is your job as a kid in our family, and you're gonna get good grades because you're capable of getting good grades.
Exactly.
So I said, okay, your phone's gone. So he got his grade up to a high D. It's a 69 now because he turned in a couple things and he got a B on the midterm. So it's now a 69. Well, our rule is if you have a D or an F, you don't get your phone. But like, I was feeling like he got the grade up.
No.
And so I was like, and so he didn't take his phone to school yesterday. He has his lunch money on there, so he didn't eat lunch all day. I picked him up from football. He had one pack of Cheez-Its
Oh,
his friend
that's
gave him all
so
day.
sad.
I was sick about it. So this morning I'm like, take your phone. You got it up. You're almost there. And Ben's like, no. They have a D. Ken's not taking hers either. They're not, and Ken's like, I retook it. He just hasn't entered it. So they're both like, turn stuff
Valid,
in.
yeah.
It just hasn't been graded yet. And I was like, let them take the phones. And Ben's like, no, they're not taking the phones. Like, they have D's. When we see things that aren't, and Ken's like, I thought as if I ended with a D. Like it's in the middle. It's like it's in progress.
What's hard though, if they end with a D, it's gone that whole semester then?
I know, that's the thing. Or does it start over the next week?
That's
when
what I
grades
mean.
reset.
Because sometimes you have to pre-plan if you can stick to your punishment.
Yeah.
Can you take everything off his phone through Bark and let him bring his phone for lunch money, but he can't do anything?
That's what we've done.
I probably
Because Regina
can.
says she's turned off everything for Mattingly on Bark.
Yeah, I don't know how
So
to.
then he's bringing this thing that he can't do anything on, but he can use his lunch money and call you for pickup.
Yeah.
But everything else is shut down.
Yeah, well, he took his ID, his physical ID today.
Okay.
The ID.
No,
Yeah.
I agree. I think, but here's where it goes gray for Kyle. Here he is. He would take the phone as well as give a 30-minute rant
Right.
on how bad that is. And that's where, like, in the rant, the things you can say, they're not really doing anything
Helpful.
good. Like, I just think sometimes, and this is careful, Naaman, or his voice,
Yeah.
whatever.
Little
Surely,
crazy.
it's so important that the consequences meet the crime, but not the words. The
Right. Yeah.
verbal attack that we put on, that's where it's not productive.
Right.
Like good, great coaches, like Tony Dungy, he never raised his voice. How do you coach a championship football team and you
Yeah.
never raise your voice?
Right.
Like Marky, she's a JV coach. I love her. She's awesome. The other day they did a really bad routine and she goes, no, line it back up. Like literally like this. But they respect her so much
Yeah.
that no was enough
Yeah.
to like devastate them. But because she is so positive to them, she never says anything that's character assassinating. I think that's the fine line. I don't think it's the punishment. The punishment is more than fine.
Yeah.
I think it's what we say sometimes when we're ranting.
Right.
Like I have where after I'm like, oh my gosh, I just totally didn't even know what I was saying. I went like a crazy.
Yeah.
And I said all these awful things and I feel so sick after.
Yeah.
Even to Kyle, like I have a tongue. And it doesn't build anyone up.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. I think the rule is fine. And I think the rule is actually excellent. I just think don't go down the, you're lazy. Why aren't you turning anything in?
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
No,
what are you doing?
We've been
That's
positive,
the stuff.
and I'm like, great job getting it in. Like, keep going.
I think you're doing great.
I just don't know if like they should get it back before, but I guess not.
I don't think so. I think if it's a D in the power schools for more than 2 days,
Yeah.
you could have, because sometimes like Hudson has a D
Or
right
like
now.
go bug your teachers to grade it.
You will.
Like-
They'll find a way.
Right.
Hudson has a D right now because she was absent and
Yeah.
didn't turn in something because she was absent yesterday. So I'm like, okay, that you have 2 days. I think a 2-day rule is a good idea.
Yeah.
They should grade in 2 days.
Right.
That one night you can't control that, but in 2 days,
Right.
or beg them.
Right.
So if you have a D for 2 days, we can look at it if it's
Yeah.
not the end. But on the 3rd day, the phone's gone.
Yeah.
That might be a better thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he turned in the assignments on Friday, but if he had a D for 2 days, then it's gone until it's up.
Right.
But I don't think you're wrong. I think you're doing great.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
No, that's what I mean. I think it's just the negative self-talk that comes out. You know, like saying you're lazy, you don't clean up everything. Like like Hudson and Broxton literally don't put anything away. Maddie puts everything away. I don't know what I did so different, or if it's just their personalities. But like when I see their stuff, I'm like, it's so sloppy. Like you're just like, why are you don't clean anything? I don't need to say all that. I just need to say, okay, if your room's a mess, you don't get to go in electronics, so it's clean. It's
then
black and white.
Not like it's like the consequence, not like a character.
Yeah, because I think sometimes we identify those things.
Choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We identify as, and like the hard kids at school, I used to just teach them that they were good, and then they were good. It's like crazy.
Yeah. Well, and I think the hardest part for me with that is it then requires consistency for me.
On my part, yeah, it's way harder.
Yeah.
And remembering and follow up and
Well, and I think in parenting, that's sometimes where we do go wrong is we do make it personal. Like, what am I doing wrong that's
Yeah.
making you not turn in your assignments? And we're honestly more disappointed in ourselves then. But I think we have to keep that line separate. They're not doing it to punish us. They're just experiencing different things in life, and they're gonna.
Yeah.
They're gonna go up and down and all around. But unconditional love.
Well, you can still love them and then be like, you also need to get your stuff in.
Discipline is love.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you don't discipline, like the chemistry teacher, do you remember him? He had long black hair. He was the hardest teacher. So his grade in chemistry was 4 tests. 4 tests was your grade. In high school, you could turn in every assignment and have a B, fail every test. very easy to do. It's how I did it. But in chemistry, Mr. Louis, this is so embarrassing, Jen would know. His was 4 tests. So you had to master. So then everything from last week was on the next test. He's a genius. So you had to master the skill to be able to get an A on the test. You couldn't just learn this week's stuff. You had to have, there was questions from every week. It was a compounding test. So you couldn't get an A unless you knew everything that was happening. So smart as a teacher. I kept failing the test. I was ineligible at cheer, and my parents were calling him. Vicky was calling him, and he didn't budge. He goes, she needs to study then. Get a tutor. I don't know, but you don't know it. So literally, he would not budge. And I got a tutor. Caitlin started tutoring me. Like, I did all this stuff. I worked so hard. I studied. I go before school, after school. And I finally was mastering the skill, and I was so proud of myself because the first time in my life I actually knew something. And I was like actually doing good on my own. It wasn't cheating off of someone's homework or this and that. And he ended up passing away, I think 2 years after I graduated. And I was devastated. It was like the best teacher I've ever had in my life. And he wasn't the easiest. He never assassinated me. Right. He was just like, get it up. You got to learn it. It was consistent. It was high expectations and consistent. But because of who I became in his class, I was like forever grateful that he knew I could figure it out.
Yeah.
Like he didn't say, oh, you're trying your best. I know that's all you know. He's like, no, figure it out. Yeah. And it made me rise. Same with Vicky. She made us rise. I'm sorry. Bleep that name. Compliments though, but bleep her name. But she held us to a higher standard. Yeah. But there was some girls that, I better skip this topic. But yeah, some that, when I was falling on my tumbling, she never character assassinated me. She said, like I remember I'd fall and she wouldn't even say a word to me. And she'd go, line it up. And it killed me more that she didn't say anything to me because I knew she knew I could do it. And she didn't say, what are you doing, you idiot? Why aren't you hitting your tumbling? She was like, line it up. And it was like, you better figure it out. And like, I knew she believed in me. So it made me rise. Yeah. Instead of like character, like ripping. Yeah. I think that's the goal. Don't character assassinate. Love people in spite of themselves. Go get your kidney stones looked at. And it's not about you.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated.
Oh,
stay hydrated.
I've been drinking so much water. It's so annoying. I have to go to the bathroom every 5 seconds.
They say that once your body adapts to the new amount of water.
It's been a week, and I'm drinking. Well, it's been
Friday,
Saturday, Sunday.
You started
Monday,
drinking water
Tuesday,
on Saturday.
5 days. No, Friday. 5 days, and it's not adapting.
No, it's like a few weeks it takes to adapt.
It's like all I do is pee. It's so annoying.
Would an IV help?
She got one.
I'm not getting an IV. Like at home.
Yeah, like an at-home IV.
I'm not into that.
She's really,
Well, I have hard veins. I'm a hard stick.
It's an awful stick.
And so, when I had COVID, I got like the at-home IV, and they like 5 different veins are blown out. Like every time I go to the hospital, it's like horrible.
Tisha did have an addiction to the Kourtney Kardashian gummies. Someone did ask me about them from the podcast, no, they're Kourtney Kardashian because somebody when I said calm, they thought it was like the calm. It's not the calm.
Chill.
Yeah, thank you. But the Let Me vitamins are amazing. But Tisha was taking like 10 to 20 a day. So like gummies, like they were gummy worms.
So yeah,
they are very delicious.
When I told Julia at Miraval, she goes, maybe get a fruit snack. So the peach, it's the Let Me Glow. They're the beauty ones, which my nails were growing like weeds. I was like, oh my gosh. So they're the beauty ones, and they have a mineral like a trace mineral compound in them. Okay. Well, so if you eat the recommended dosage, it's like 10 milligrams. Well, times 20. It's not so good. So I think that's what happened. I think I overloaded.
And she doesn't drink water. She drinks
and
a LaCroix.
I didn't drink water.
A LaCroix a day keeps the doctor away. Not so much.
It does not keep it away. Mm-hmm. So now I'm not taking. And if I do start them up once I pass this, I'm gonna have.
She can't wait.
Which Julia's like, maybe even just take one because she's like, you're probably like lighter than the average
weight.
Yeah, and so she's like, maybe take one.
That's what
a day.
I take.
But I don't know if I can take one. Like they're so good. Kourtney, damn you, Kourtney. Like. It's like
I heard she's not recording anymore. Is that true?
Really? I don't know. It's the best gummies.
You were watching it. The Kardashians.
Oh, and the new one she's in.
Oh, Maddie said she was done.
There's some drama between her and the sisters. I know she had like a.
She's my favorite right now.
Oh, the gummies are life-changing.
I'm glad the gummies are doing good. I'm sick of the rest of them.
Did you see Britney though? Her book.
Britney Spears.
She wrote a book. It's coming out. There's quite some bombshells. I guess Justin made her get an abortion.
Oh.
I'm like. I feel bad for her. I'm like, did she really write it? Because have you... I don't think she wrote it.
Well, no one writes those books.
Yeah. Because if you see the posts on Instagram, They don't make a whole lot of sense.
No.
Yeah, so like if we're writing a whole book and it's not making any sense, I'm like, I think there's a ghostwriter for sure.
Absolutely.
It's all trying to translate
Crystal.
the, you know?
ChatGPT.
Yeah, with the knives.
Nice.
Oh, the funniest one was
Crystal.
it was like it had her like doing the plane with the lights,
Who? Donna?
Brittany, and she was
Oh, yeah, with the
lights,
knives.
and the guy's he's all looking out the window, and he's all and like the plane's like going like I'm not trying to make fun of her because she is lost and she needs Jesus.
What's
so bad.
Christelle's name from the thing? I gotta show you the thing I was talking about last week.
Oh, but so do you feel like it ends like it wraps it
No,
up?
I don't want to know, Tish.
She's not telling me, but I'm just saying, do you
No.
feel like it wraps it up good?
Strauss.
You know what? Yeah, Strauss, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Stause.
Do you think that it wraps it up good? You know when so Ted Lasso, I was not happy with the way Ted Lasso
wasn't
ended.
either.
Why is Roy and Keely not together in the end? I'm so mad. I'm still mad about it.
I know, don't answer that though. You're trying to see if Donna and him are together. You're basically
No,
asking.
I'm saying, did it wrap it up better than Ted Lasso, or does it leave you with that feeling? Because I don't want that feeling.
It does not leave you with the same feeling as Ted Lasso.
Okay.
There was like
I
a
gotta show you this.
season, maybe 6 or 7, where I was like bored. I'm just already dedicated. I'm watching this to watch it. It's the same thing over and over again. So I was like ready for it to end.
Yeah, right now she's with Lewis, and I'm just so annoyed.
Yeah, you still have.
No, I told you that already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when I
But it
talk.
wraps it up in a good way, like you're happy.
It wraps it up in a way that
Can you
gives you answers.
Okay. And you feel like that.
just
great.
ask the question when I leave? I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
You just want to
either.
know if they're together.
Who?
Donna and Harry.
Harry?
What's his name? Harvey.
I'm all. Who are you talking
Oh,
about?
Harry Styles?
Yeah.
What's funny is I was
No,
like,
I don't care about that. I
Wrap what up then?
like the whole story.
What's the
So
story?
Mike and Rachel are not on the last few seasons.
What?
Yeah, because Rachel
that.
became the
Mrs. Duchess or
Yeah,
whatever.
they took her off.
'Cause the
I didn't know
last
Mike
season
left
was,
too.
like, 2018, right?
Yeah, 2019.
So she left like right in the middle. How crazy.
Yeah, like toward the end.
Yeah.
And then
She bothers me the whole show. I'm like, oh my
She
god.
didn't bother me that
I
much.
feel like
She's not that in it again. She was in it for when she's Harvey's assistant. It's awful.
Yeah, that's what I'm at.
Yeah, it was awful.
And she's like-
the acting was awful, and you're not Mike. Like you can't handle Harvey.
yeah.
It was like not even the right thing at all.
Yeah.
That all goes away, and it's back to.
She's dumb. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah. All right.